So I'm going to be doing something a little different today. If anybody wants to check out these results, I'm sorry that it's faded, but it was a fax copy, so the ink wasn't exactly put on evenly. But I'm sorry for my shaky hand. If you want to, read the results and get a good idea, then go ahead and pause the video. But what I want everybody to take note of is the creatinine levels. The creatinine levels are 1.51, which is, above the highest normal range. And then the AST levels, which is 52, which averages 10 to 40. Now, what creatinine levels are, as you can guess, have to do with creatine in the body. And, it is specifically related to muscle development and just the level of how much your kidneys are secreting the creatine. So what this means when you have high creatine levels is that you are putting your kidneys through a lot of work, which is, one of the most typical things that we come to expect with steroid usage is that, you are more taxing on your organs. So one thing that I wanted everybody to understand and know is that during this process, this test that was taken last year when I was on cycle, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't taking drugs, I wasn't doing anything. These levels are elevated at when I was 24 years old, strictly from steroid usage. So, one of the things that steroids, hasn't been directly linked to, but, people that have taken steroids in the past have had this happen. If you read at the end, it shows that, a fairly recent discovery has linked elevated creatinine levels to prostate cancer. And there are a lot of people in the bodybuilding world that have gotten prostate cancer at an older age, athletes, it's common regardless, but it's more of a trend with people who have dabbled in anabolics. And the other thing, which was the AST levels, has to do with basically liver enzymes from your liver being given a lot to filter. So, I had 12 points above the normal range, which was 10 to 40. And like I said, that's very, very interesting because I wasn't drinking, I wasn't smoking, I wasn't taking any pills. So I have at 24 years old above the normal range for both my liver and my kidneys. So for anybody that thinks that, steroids aren't physically harmful, they're wrong. And it's not like I was doing a lot too. I was eating fairly healthy, I was drinking my water, I was doing all these things that I was supposed to be doing. And also another thing to, take note of is I was not drinking creatine during this cycle. My creatinine levels were raised strictly from using testosterone, which is really fascinating because even I wasn't sure of the fact that testosterone would raise your creatine levels. And so it's kind of fascinating for me to know all these things that I didn't know before, and it definitely makes me think twice about returning. But if anybody wants to do any different kind of research on this, like I said, you could pause the video when I first showed all my levels to be able to read it a lot easier and ignore my shaky hand. But if anybody has any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer from the most, scientific standpoint possible, because I make sure to research anything that affects my body. So I noticed that there wasn't really a lot of scientific backing behind just exactly how steroids affect people. But at 24 years old, I have documentation of what running a couple cycles has done to me up to this point. So I hope everybody can learn from my experience and hopefully make better decisions because of it. Thank you.